so much to me and to Governor Walz that you knocked on doors, you called friends, you called in favors. You said, hey, I showed up at your softball game. Now I need you to show up at the campaign office. You put in the time. It was personal for you. Because of your efforts, get this, we raised an historic $1.4 billion, almost $1.5 billion. The work must continue of reminding ourselves that we have an ability to stay engaged in a way that will make a difference. The work that you all did, it's going to have lasting effect. The election didn't turn out like we wanted it to, certainly not as we planned for it to. And I know this is an uncertain time. I'm clear-eyed about that. I know you're clear-eyed about it. And it feels heavy. And I just have to remind you, don't you ever let anybody take your power from you. You have the same power that you did before November 5th. And on this practical eve of Thanksgiving, I wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving with the ability and to find the ability at this moment to take a moment and just reflect on all the good you have done.
A day before Thanksgiving, I want to ask you guys, what you guys are grateful for in this political season? As you saw from the intro, America dodged a bullet. I'm just going to say that, right? Many people are out here speculating, is Kamala Harris drunk? Well, one, I won't say she's drunk, but I'm not going to say that this video was a good look on her. I'm just saying, right? Imagine post-election, right? There's reports of her. She needed time off because this is Kamala Harris's first public appearance since she lost the election. White House claims Kamala deserves time after hard work. For past 4 years, she's not out of office until January. So she's been taking this long vacation. Everyone's asking, yo, where you been? Where's Kamala Harris? We haven't seen Kamala Harris since she lost the election. And, we all know her financial situation. She's $20 million in debt. She out here begging supporters to continue donating to a campaign that already lost past election day. Yes, Kamala Harris is doing this. And I think this is what her recent appearance encapsulate. And the fact that she's still in the running for 2028, yes, you heard me correctly. Polls state that Democrats will still support her for a 2028 run. More on that later, but I want to give you an unedited video, not unedited, but I want to show you a short clip of what she's kind of what she's saying, and one of the reasons why many people believe that Kamala Harris may be drunk here.
I just have to remind you, don't you ever let anybody take your power from you. You have the same power that you did before November 5th.
Well, she looks like she has a lazy eye.
And you have the same purpose that you did. And you have the same ability to engage and inspire. So don't ever let anybody or any circumstance take your power from you.
And now you see why they edited the blowout of the states. Shout out to Mays, right? As Kamala delivers a speech to her dejected supporters, begging or bragging about how they raised nearly $1.5 billion for her failed campaign, David Bloof finally admits that the campaign internal polls never had Harris ahead of Trump. It was all a giant scam, right? And I'm going to show you more on this later, but I want to show you a clip that Chris Cuomo put out. And I agree with kind of Chris Cuomo's assessment here that many people knew Kamala Harris didn't have a chance. And maybe Biden was right. Picking Kamala Harris was his best decision. Let's take a look.
What is your take on what the lessons are for the Democrats?
Well, I think there's some idiosyncratic things. Joe Biden should never have run. He really shouldn't have run in 2020, but he certainly shouldn't have run for re-election. And she shouldn't have run. When Joe Biden called her and said, I'm not going to run, maybe, she should have said, you know what, I'm not going to run either, because I can evaluate my capacity to beat Donald Trump in 100 days, and I'm not the right person. There may not be someone better, but I know it's not me.
Why? Why should she have thought that?
Well, Not because she's a woman, and not because she's not white, and not because she shouldn't be ambitious, because she should know herself as well as I do in terms of knowing her. And I don't know her all that well. I've known her a long time. She's not good at making difficult choices under pressure. That is the job description of president and presidential candidate. And she should have said, this is going to require a lot of very difficult decisions about how to talk about the Biden-Harris record. The biggest vulnerability Joe Biden had, besides his loss of acuity and his age, was our failed record. Anyone else isn't going to have to defend the Biden-Harris record. Maybe Pete Buttigieg would a little, but not the same way. And she should have said to herself, I think, I'm not good at making difficult choices under pressure. And trying to figure out how to explain why the country should vote for me as part of an administration where they think the country's on the wrong track is going to require making a lot of difficult decisions under pressure. And I shouldn't do it. That's what I think she should have done. So that those are two lessons. He shouldn't have run and she shouldn't have run.
Hey, I mean, it's hard to say I told you so, but if you've been following this channel for a while, even if for the past month, I don't know how many videos I made about Kamala Harris, and none of my criticism ever felt from the fact that she was a woman, that she was a biracial woman. None of that. None of my criticism ever centered around that. It was solely on policy and the fact that why would I reward a party that majority of Americans believe is going in the wrong direction? Why would I select someone from that party? And from the clip you just saw, the question was, she's not good under pressure. And it seems so. When she lost the election, she gave one of the most coherent speeches ever when she conceded the election, right? And now she's in a stressful situation. She got debt to pay back. And now she's out here begging voters, begging supporters to continue donating so she could pay off the $20 million in debt that she's in, right? You wanted to run the economy, but you couldn't even run the campaign. And now there's reports that she's eyeing a 2028 run. She's keeping her options open, one claim. Right? There's a lot of claims going on. Kamala is reporting telling advisors to keep her political options open for a possible presidential run in 2028 or a campaign for governor in her home state after a loss to president like Donald Trump earlier this month. And I think the most plausible case will be she's more likely to win California as a governor, because one of the biggest criticisms that I had personally about Kamala Harris is Kamala Harris does not know how to talk to people who are not Democrats. This is the reality. This was my biggest point when I was criticizing Kamala Harris. Breaking: Kamala Harris' campaign's internal polls never had her leading Trump. We were hopeful. I don't know how optimistic we were, but we thought, okay, this is a tie, and if a couple things break our way, we could win. So you got people to donate $1 billion. It's crazy work. Trump only spent $300 million to get that landslide victory, right? And you know what the Democrats always are saying? Oh, it's sexism. All right, MSNBC host suggests misogyny is the reason a lot of men won't support Kamala Harris. I'm a man, and I have like 7 videos of why I was against Kamala Harris. My best one was my last one I made leading up to the election. I say, hey, your policies don't work. You're aligned with a warmonger called Liz Cheney. You're putting my health at risk because I could face possible death. And here you are trying to make excuses for her. And the Democrats are criticizing everybody but the candidate herself. Make it make sense. You protecting her from all kinds of accountability, right? A Democrat mega donor gives inside scoop on Kamala Harris's political future. And I think this is one of the things that, she's keeping her political options open. But I'm like, either you win as governor of California, because that's the only way you can win elections inside a liberal Democrat bubble, right? And this is why I say, look, America, Democrats specifically, don't give us no more California Democrats, at least not for a while. I need like a 10-year break without having to deal with a California Democrat, because these people are the very definition of what we're talking about that's wrong with the Democratic Party. That you believe everyone should be like y'all, when in reality, no one wants to be like y'all. But I digress. Let's get into this clip of a mega donor explaining Kamala Harris's potential political future. Let's take a look.
So, John, I never heard anything like this before. Do you think somebody stole the money?
Well, maybe legally. I mean, look, to me, you remember the movie Mad Max when everybody was just doing whatever they wanted into the world? That's what happened here. All of a sudden, everybody's got the keys to the candy store. Ad buyers, talent, consultants. There's 100 days to do it. And the money started pouring in. Remember this, Chris. It wasn't pouring
$4
in.
million for private jets. Wow. Washington Examiner, Fox News, News Nation. Look at the money she spent. And you think she would have been, I'm gonna invest this amount of money in affordable housing. How you know she wasn't gonna squander it? Pete Buttigieg, right? Who, he was getting under fire. You're the transportation secretary, but we have all this money for charging stations and you only made 8. And I think the excuse he gave was, well, we're planning to build that up and we're ramping up, but the terms are by 2030, we'll have all those, we'll have like 100,000 charging stations built. And I'm like, yo, it took you 4 years to build 8. And you think you can get that, you can get more than 100 by 2030? I doubt it, but it's possible. It's possible. But this is what I'm talking about here. This is the poll I'm talking about. Democrat is presidential from Emerson. Kamala Harris is at 37. And then majority of people, the other half, are undecided. Gavin Newsom is at the top. But I already said it. Democrats, I'm just, as an independent, right-leaning independent, as a conservative independent, if you put another California Democrat on the top of that ticket, you're going to lose. I'm just saying.
For Harris, it was pouring in against Trump. Everybody that was voting and supporting Harris was really voting against Trump. And everybody that was voting for Trump was voting for Trump. So she had all this money coming in. She had all these consultants. And if you don't run the ads, you don't get paid for the buy. They were running ads in Florida, where I live, nonstop. And I'm like, why? I mean, are they running them in Alabama and Idaho too?
See, this is what you're talking about, government efficiency, right? You're not efficient. I talked about this like when I heard these liberal commentators talking about my state, Florida. I tell, as a Floridian, someone born and raised, I've been here. I was born here in 1996. Since it was a blue state, swing state, when Florida was still considered a swing state, I was growing up. And I slowly saw the sentiments around my community shift dramatically. Because in Florida, we got a lot of immigrants here, right? Which tended to be traditionally, socially more conservative, very family oriented, very common sense over here. And the minute Democrats stopped making sense, I knew, oh yeah, y'all lost. Since 2016, I was like, yeah, y'all lost. When Ron DeSantis won 2018, I think that was the closest Democrats could have been to getting Florida as a blue state. No, that's done now. Because this trans issue, when I walk around in my neighborhood, my little suburban area that I'm looking outside right now, and I talk to neighbors, right, and we say, oh, we homeschooling our kid. Our neighbors like, oh yeah, I know. They're teaching a lot of crazy stuff nowadays in school. That's the number one thing I hear now when I say I'm homeschooling my kid. People like resonating with me. Oh, I wish I could do that. I'm like, oh, before I used to get put, especially when I asked my mom, who's a Democratic voter, by the way. Oh yeah, I'm homeschooling my kid. Oh, why you don't put them in public school? Nothing's wrong with public school. You should put them in public school. I was like, no, mom, that's not what we want. Right? I see the sentiment shift, and the fact that you decided to waste money here shows you how arrogant they, how high on their own supply they were. Especially when you had internal polls saying that you never led Trump. What? But you're spending money in Florida. But you never led Trump. But you're spending money in Florida. They have no logical reason to be spending ads. It seemed like a lot of people got paid off of Kamala Harris. Everyone knew Kamala Harris was going to lose, and they came in for a quick payday. That's what it looks like to me. But she's your number one candidate for 2028. Okay, Democrats, try it if you want.
And I'll tell you why. If you don't run the ads, the buyer doesn't get paid. A $900,000 to put her face on the Sphere in Las Vegas. In the Sphere, the ego, the crazy, the commissions. I was at the White House for a dinner Friday night, talking to a lot of people, and I'm telling you, man, there's a lot of whispering. There's a lot of names about who got paid this, who got paid that, and a lot of people got rich on the back of donors trying to stop Trump. And I think this disqualifies her forever.
Well, not the voters don't think so. This is the mega donors. These are the people who donate for your preferred candidates to have a chance to win nationally. He's saying this, but your voters are saying something else. So we'll see. We'll see. Because the Democrats got the super delegates. The donors can effectively pick the next nominee, or at least give a better advantage for their preferred nominee. But Kamala Harris, I think her time politically is over. I think the only way she wins is she stays in California. That's the only way I see her having any political success in the future. Right? But other than that, she's done. She donezo. To lose this badly, in 4 months, you spent $1 billion and you lost in a landslide. Talk about efficiency. He got a better result spending less money than you did. Republican donors got more bang for their buck compared to a Democratic voter, all because of what? Emotions, feelings. And instead of accepting the reality that, hey, we ran a bad candidate who didn't, like, objectively, she's a bad candidate, whether you change her gender, her race, if you leave Kamala the way she is, or all her character traits, she's still a bad candidate, no matter what her skin color is. And the fact that the Democratic strategists or these talking heads who are in favor of Democrats are sitting here saying, oh no, it's not Kamala's fault that she lost. It's because of misogyny. It's because of racism. Effectively blaming the voters because we didn't want a crappy product. Typical socialist, huh? Typical leftist. Always feeling entitled to something instead of earning something. And Kamala Harris didn't earn her nomination. She was given to, her nomination was given by Joe Biden because Joe Biden wanted to screw over the Democratic Party. Oh, you want to take me out? Only I could beat Trump. Oh, you don't believe me? Okay, here you go. Kamala, I endorsed you. The best decision Joe Biden has ever made, quote unquote.
Forever. If you can't run a campaign, you can't run America. And that would be the argument just day one. So it was terrible. I think she did a good job in the debate. I think she did as good a job as she could hope for in a short period of time. I told everybody, she should not have been the nominee.
How much you got paid, Chris?
And she lost badly. So she's got to go figure out her life. She's in Hawaii. Tim Walz was at the dinner. She was in Hawaii. So she's having a call with donors this week. They tell me about her political future. I don't think she has a political future. So that's my thought on her.
How bad is this for the party going forward?
It's terrible because when you don't trust, it's like Andrew Gillum down here in Florida. He lost by just a little bit. Mm-hmm. But the money was, to DeSantis, just a little bit. But the money was so squandered and kept that, and he was going to take all that money he kept and rebuild the party. The Republicans got 1 million more voters now. What happened in Florida is with Gillum is going to the same thing is going to follow Harris for the rest of her career. She cannot be trusted with the money. And the party and the donors are going to be like, where is this money going? Look, the week of the election, a former ambassador called me and said, I'm having a fundraiser, this like 2 days before the election. I said, how can you spend the money? Well, we need it for GOTV. I said, no. I stopped giving once Biden was out. As you know, Chris, I said, that's it. I'm a Biden guy. I wasn't Harris.
Wow. And you wanted her to run the country. She was... I know conservative women can take a joke, but hey, just a disclaimer, don't get mad. But she was girl mathing the campaign, bro. She was girl mathing. That's crazy. Wow. Hearing the donor talk, I'm like, yo, if the donor class does not trust you to be able to properly manage the resources towards a campaign, how can you run for president? That's why I said the only chance she has at a political future, it's in California. Because I think they're only people who are still liberal, woke enough to want to put her into any position of power. I mean, they already tolerated Newsom for I don't know how long. They recalled the guy, then end up voting for him again. Like that's the only like place I can imagine her actually having a political future. But on a national scale, I think she's donezo. Based on what that donor just said, eye-opening, very interesting. And I mentioned Florida. I was here when Florida was a swing state. All my life, 28 years of my life here in this state. And I saw the transition. I'm like, yo, yeah. Y'all don't got good management skills. Y'all don't know how to manage your resources. You don't know how to be effective. And you sitting here blaming misogyny when in reality it's your incompetence. This is why many people think that Democrat Party, y'all on the downward trend. And the fact that you're blaming everybody, you ain't blaming yourself on this. You're blaming everything but yourselves on this. Oh, it's only going to solidify this. I want to see this. Continue, please. But yeah, I don't think we're going to see or hear from Kamala Harris after January 20th. That's just my thoughts. Let me hear yours in the comment section. I'm really interested to hear how you guys are reacting to Kamala Harris, how she's been taking things, your perception of her future. I'd like to be curious about what you guys have to say. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate you guys watching to the end of the video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.